Hello Dixons, I'm Knighton, Senior Vice Principal at Dixon's Academy Trust. In this episode we continue our work creating a timetable to achieve 9 in 10 day working pattern for our teachers. This is the third video in this mini-series, so do go back and catch up with parts 1 and 2 alongside this one. The first choice made in constructing the 9 in 10 timetable was deciding the days off. The original concept, 1 day off in every 10, was simple. Staff could have any one of 10 days off over a 2-week period. The question was asked how to make this fair. Who gets a Monday or a Friday off? Would this be preferable to a day in the middle of the week? I will admit I was sceptical about this idea. Mondays and Fridays means 25% of staff off for 4 days in 10. However, as the whole concept was new, we needed to keep an open mind and try this approach first. Anything is possible. After several hours of modelling, I'm a control freak when it comes to timetabling, and I like to plan in Excel first. It became clear that having more than one faculty out on any day simply gave too few options and brought up several scenarios that would lead to big and small changes for the principal, which just couldn't work. However, the attempt was worth it as it led to some definite no-goes. Lengthy discussions about staff time allocation and how a change to the school week might help. After these debates, we decided to abandon the Monday-Friday model for these main reasons. Too many whole year group lessons in Year 7 and 8 were required as fixes on Mondays and Fridays. The impact of tutor, form, dear time meant that 1/4 of form tutors were off 4 times over the 2 weeks. The consideration that SLT and pastoral staff would probably have to have days off in the week in order to keep the school safe on Mondays and Fridays. We also have a commitment across our trust to 2 occasional days per year. I made the prediction that the majority of staff would request their occasional days on a Monday or a Friday in order to extend a weekend. This would therefore fall on the days when schools have the lightest number of staff. This directly led to the opposite idea that staff could be off on Tuesdays, Wednesdays or Thursdays, something not considered until this point. As you can see, there were additional advantages to a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday pattern. All the staff would be in at the start and the end of the week, often days that present the most challenge. This would mean that all staff would be available on these days for PD, faculty meetings and parents' evenings, as well as at least one of the paired trust day-to-day planning days. There would also be full capacity in school on the days that staff are more likely to request for occasional days, making internal cover affordable and available. The concept of staff off on random days was too much for me. The idea of nearly all core groups having split teachers or non-specialists for some lessons seemed unfair to the students. So, staff days off were allocated by faculty. Having whole faculties off also made the modelling for the week clearer. For each of the 6 days, there is one subject missing. On Tuesdays we have no languages, on Wednesdays no maths, and so on. As the timetable construction developed, there became 2 exceptions to this decision. Part-time staff, so if their faculty day is also on their non-working day, another day would have to be found. And in addition, a minority of SLT staff had to be allocated a day away from their faculty to keep a balance of support across the weeks. Staff timetable allocation became a big discussion. The ultimate aim for staff to retain their current PPA allowance in addition to having 1 day off over 2 weeks. This would then truly deliver something of true benefit. Whilst this might not be entirely possible in this first iteration, getting as close as we can is the challenge. This was ultimately achieved by looking at how the non-teacher responsibilities and expectations are managed. Collective learning at the start of the day, or morning meeting, is an opportunity for whole year groups to be managed by a combination of SLT, pastoral and non-teaching staff, freeing up teaching staff. The modelling of morning meetings differ across our trust. In the model this school uses, morning meeting provides adequate time for all coaching conversations to take place. PSHE is delivered to students twice over the 2-week timetable. If these lessons are scheduled on Fridays, a day when all staff are in, faculties can meet on alternate weeks, half week A and half week B. In order to fit staff PD without impacting PPA time, a 60-lesson 2-week curriculum was reduced to 58 lessons. Students will finish 55 minutes earlier 1 day a week, but the staff day would not change, allowing PD to take place after the school day but with no increase in staff time. Staff mentoring Teach First colleagues and ECTs would have additional remission to facilitate the newly increased 90 minutes required mentoring per week. The 2-lesson reduction, 3%, led to a slight change in the curriculum. Year 7 and 8 losing 1 lesson of French and 1 lesson of co-curricular over the 2 weeks, Year 9 to lose 1 lesson of French and 1 lesson of PE, and Year 10 and 11 to lose 1 lesson of French and 1 lesson of science. Remember, these decisions were not all made prior to the modelling of this example timetable. However, we now know that many of the decisions can be changed or made during the process. The next episode will look at how these questions were answered and how the timetable construction began. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe to our platform at www.dixonsos.com. We'd love your feedback, so please like and comment below.